Welcome back to me reading Transported, a Wings of Fire story, fanfiction. This time it's going to be chapter 22. As usual, if this is your first time watching this little series, I recommend you to watch the previous chapters or read them yourself. But before we get started, I still feel a little sick, but voice is a little better. So let's just get started. This chapter's name is Passing the Time. The warm breeze whipped past Daniel's face as he flew, which dried out his eyes slightly. He was in the middle of the group of dragons, Ghibli and Star up in the front, Turtle following closely behind, then Daniel and Winter, and finally Moon, Pearl, and Kikajal. They had been flying for a solid 3 hours by now, with the occasional break for water. It was good that Baron's map had many of the known oases marked, so finding break spots wasn't hard at all. During this time, Winter was able to get off of Daniel's back, which allowed both of them to release some cramped tension in their muscles. It was difficult carrying someone on his back while he flew. He had to really concentrate. But on the plus side, Winter's cold scales kept him cool from the scorching sun. Although when night falls, I'm not sure how well I'm going to be, Daniel thought with a slight shiver. The chances of catching hypothermia during the night were not bad, but with an entire ice wing on his back, during the already cold temperatures, it wouldn't treat Daniel kindly. I'll be fine, said one half of his brain. However, his other half disagreed. No, you won't. You think you can survive a trip to a place with close to sub-zero temperatures with an ice wing on your back? Winter is right. You are insane. I'll just have to be positive. I just stop for a quick break and warm myself up, with fire if needs be. Daniel was arguing with himself. He found himself doing it quite often, actually. For some reason, his logical brain told him one thing, but his heart said another. He would constantly have these mental arguments, and it made him mad. How ironic, I'm getting angry at something that I'm doing myself. What happened to me? Daniel thought disappointingly. He needed something to get his mind off the topic. He looked up at his ice-wing payload, only to find out that he had fallen asleep on his back. Winter's tail was still wrapped around Daniel's. However, he seemed to be doing it unconsciously to keep himself stable. Daniel studied his face, but only to have it light up as he saw that Winter was smiling for once. He looks so peaceful, Daniel thought, as he looked forward to where Keebly and Star were flying just in front of him. You'll be a great fit for him, Winter. Trust me. Daniel kept his smile as he continued flying straight, letting Winter sleep peacefully for probably the first time in a while. Daniel looked up toward Star. He couldn't hold his blush back as he remembered her majestically beautiful and mesmerizing eyes. There we go. The Giga Chad finally has his love interest. All right, let's continue. There was something about her that just clicked with his heart, and he didn't know why. But I guess I can't deny it. I think I like her a lot. As Daniel thought about his new crush, he completely forgot about his internal argument with himself. As such, allowed him to fly just as peacefully as the Ice Wing, who was sleeping on his back. Meanwhile, Keebly and Star were talking with one another to pass the time, while they all continued their journey. And that's it, really, Keebly concluded. He was just explaining to Star about Hurricane's dramatic entrance to Jade Mountain. Wow, really? Star asked, slightly in awe. So he just casually flew into the vicinity at the speed of sound? Like it was any old regular day? Pretty much, Keebly confirmed. He looked back at the red Skywing flying behind him, but his bright face slightly fell as he noticed him staring at his sleeping Winter on his back. Hey, Star said in a soft voice. What's the matter? You were just happy a moment ago. Oh, it's nothing, Keebly responded, in an attempt to dismiss the topic. But Star wasn't going to let him win that easily. No, it is. I can tell. It's something you care about, Star said. Please, maybe I can help you out. She shot him a kind smile, which he returned despite his current state of mind. Fine, fine, Kibi laughed. You convinced me. I should probably get it off my chest anyways, Ghibli said as he took a deep breath. I don't quite remember if you were present during this, but at one point back in the cave, me and my friends agreed on no more secrets, Ghibli explained. This was so we wouldn't accidentally hurt someone else's feelings by keeping a random secret from them. They looked toward Star to make sure she was listening. She shot him a puzzled look. So, what exactly does this have to do with you being upset all of a sudden? She awaited an answer, to which Keebly replied, Well, during that time, winter, the ice ring on Hurricane's back, he gestured to Daniel flying behind them. He told me that I had an obvious crush on Hurricane. I thought he was crazy, but after a good while of thinking, I think he may be right. Kiwi looked up to meet Star's gaze, although he was nervous considering that he didn't know how she would react to him having a crush on another male. Homophobia based. All right, that joke aside, let's continue. I see, Star said slowly. So what's the huge deal? Ghibli looked at her, slightly surprised. Her answer, What's the deal? Ghibli repeated, and Buzz went, Yeah, what's the deal? Star repeated. If you like Hurricane, then wouldn't it be better if you just admitted your feelings to him? She tilted her head. Wouldn't that be the most logical thing to do? What? No! Ghibli responded quickly. And why not? Who knows? He might like you back. You never know until you try, Star said. Puzzled, why Ghibli didn't see it as the most obvious thing to do. Well, okay, fine. You're right, Ghibli reluctantly admitted. But I have an issue and a hunch. And what are they? She shook her head slightly and made a small vertical movement with her shoulders. Surely this issue can't be so bad that it's stopping you from just talking to him. Well, that's the thing. It is, Ghibli sighed, as Star just looked confused, out of her mind. Look, the issue is that I found out yesterday that Winter has a very large and strong crush on me, Ghibli explained. He saw Star's face fall a little. He tilted his head in confusion for a small moment as he studied it. No, though, he just ignored it for the time being and continued. And my hunch is that Hurricane likes someone else. I'm not sure who, but I'm pretty sure it's not me, Ghibli expressed sadly. Star was about to say something, but Ghibli interrupted, unintentionally and unknowingly. Although that's not all, Ghibli continued. You see, Winter has a crush on me, and he's one of my best friends. If I break his heart, I might lose that friendship. And I'm not sure if I can handle that. But if you don't break his heart, I'll never get the chance. I'll never even get. But if I don't break his heart, I'll never get to even have a chance with the person I love. Ghibli sniffled a little. The topic was slowly getting to his deep feels. Ah, yes, his deep feels. So you see, I'm stuck between two choices with possibly very terrible outcomes for me. He couldn't hold it back anymore. He needed to let a few tears drop to ease the tension. Luckily, he didn't break down right then and there, but he was close. Hey, it's going to be all right, Star said, reassuringly. She flew closer to him. A soothing mix of cool and warm radiated off her spikes and sandy scales. We can figure something out. If it makes you feel any better, I could help you get together with him, Star said, as she looked at Keebly's shocked face. Really? You do that for me? Keebly asked, hope glinting in his obsidian-colored eyes. Of course. On one condition, though, Star stated. She paused shyly for a moment before continuing. You help me get with my crush in return. Oh, all right. That's fine with me. Keebly sighed, or said, smiling. Who is it? Keebly asked, elbowing her slightly as he raised his brows. Dragons have brows? Never mind. Let's continue. Star blushed a deep blue, which heavily stood out on her yellow facial scales. She glanced back towards the others and shot Keebly a him look. Keebly looked behind to where Hurricane was. He looked deep in thought, and as such, didn't notice Keebly's glance. Keebly looked back at Star with a puzzled look. She sighed and rolled her eyes before she whispered so only he could hear her words. I like winter. Keebly's eyelids shot up in surprise. You like winter? You like winter? He repeated a little loudly. Shh! Star quickly said as she snapped his mouth shut with her talon. I don't want anyone to know yet, she explained as she let go. Right. Sorry. Keebly apologized. But to tell you the truth, I'm not sure if I can help you. He paused as he saw Star's face noticeably drop sadly. Not that I don't want to, he quickly added. It's just that Winter already said that he likes me, and changing his mind once it's set on something has never been easy, and it'll probably be harder with his strong feelings. Star listened sadly. She understood what Keebly was saying, that it would be extremely difficult. I understand, Star said, slight tears in her eyes. This just made Keebly feel bad. He knew the pain of not being able to be with someone, so without thinking, he blurted, Hey, I'm still willing to try if you are. Star looked back suddenly. But what about your friendship with him? If he finds out you're trying to get us together, wouldn't he be heartbroken? And like you said, that could possibly end your friendship. Keebly hadn't thought of it that way. He hadn't thought of the possibility of Winter finding out of their plan. She was right on this one. If Winter found out, it would most certainly severely damage or possibly end their friendship. What? We left typos there. They make us laugh. Their friendship in an instant. Keebly stayed silent. Sorry. Keebly stayed silent for a thoughtful moment before he responded. He won't find out. Not if we're careful about it. And if we do get you two together, I'll have no issue asking Hurricane out. Win-win. Or lose-lose, Star pointed out. They do find out, and when did the author forget an if there? I don't know. Let's just continue. They do find out, and Winter hates both you and me. You lose your friendship, and I lose my chance. That's not going to happen. It won't happen. We won't let it happen, Keebly said sternly. Star was silent, but she soon added, You're right. It'll work. We'll be fine. That's the spirit, Keebly smiled, to which Star happily returned. Just then, however, Daniel flew up to them. Hey guys, what you talking about? He settled on Keebly's side, since he was still slightly nervous to talk to Star. But his choice just ended up making Keebly's heart speed up. Oh, hey, Keebly stuttered, a slight blush forming on his snout. Hey, how's it going? Is your payload treating you well? Star joked. Nah, it's fine. It's been fine. Bit chilly, I'll admit, but nothing I can't handle. He shot her a sharp smile, to which she laughed. Keebly, however, was just listening in silently. Huh? Hold on a second. Keebly, however, was just listening in silently. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Too scared to look him in the face due to the near crimson blush across his yellow scales. Daniel continued speaking, and to Keebly's luck, not noticing his blush. The long trip would actually be so much better if this damn dragon would stop snoring. He yelled, which both woke Winter up and caused an outbreak of laughter from both Keebly and Star. Are we there yet? Winter asked groggily as he opened up his weary eyes. No, but it seems you've lost your precious sleeping privileges after you annoyed Hurricane with your snoring, Keeley said. Yep, you want to sleep, that's fine. But don't snore on me, or I'll wake you up, Daniel said in a jokingly hard tone. Whatever. I'm not tired anymore, anyways, Winter retorted. And for your information, I don't snore. Yeah, sure you don't, Daniel added sarcastically. Are you calling me a liar? Winter snapped. No, I'm calling you oblivious to yourself, Daniel jokingly snapped back. Winter bared his sharp teeth close to Daniel's face. He didn't say anything. Wow, you actually humbled him, Ghibli said, slightly impressed. Usually I'm the only one who's able to do that. Ha! You kidding? This guy is easy to humble. Isn't that right, Icy? Daniel teased. The only response that Winter gave to his remark was a soft, huff. Sure, he's threatened to slice my face off before, but he's fine now, Daniel said. But he knew damn well that the only reason he was getting away with this was because Winter needed a ride on his back, or needed to ride on his back. If Winter could fly, I would be fending off a feral ice wing by now. This indirectly told himself that he should probably apologize, even if it wasn't that huge of a deal. Nah, I'm just kidding around, Winter. Sorry for the remarks and teasing, Daniel said. To this, Winter looked at him slightly puzzled, but replied nonetheless. I accept your apology. Just don't do it again, Winter said sternly. Can't promise that, but I promise to leave you alone until the end of this massive flight, Daniel replied, which earned him a large groan from Winter. Meanwhile, Keebly just looked absolutely shocked, but when he noticed their intertwined tails, he got slightly mad, slightly jealous. Oh boy. Whoa, are you alright, Keebly? Winter asked, spotting his slightly aggravated facial expression. Keebly ignored the question and instead asked a question of his own. Why are your tails intertwined? His question was normal, and he had a soft, almost sad tone of voice when he asked it. But there was a hard layer of anger behind it. And it only spelt one word in Daniel's mind. Jealousy. Oh, it's for stability, so he doesn't fall off my back. Why does he need it, though? We're just flying straight, aren't we? And plus, it makes you two look like a couple, Keeley said, both genuinely confused and very jealous. I told you it made us look gay, didn't I? Winter bellowed. He palmed himself as a very noticeable blush of embarrassment formed on his snout. You know, these dragons have a lot of blushes going on. It's pretty funny. Well, I mean, you can't really say much yourself, Winter, Daniel said as he glided closer to Keebly for multiple reasons. Well, if I want to keep my word to Winter, I can at least try. I can at least make a start by bringing both of them together. They flew downward slightly, so Winter and Keebly were basically shoulder to shoulder, while he was able to neatly fly under the others. Hey, what are you doing? Winter asked as Daniel finally came to a stop. Well, I'm sure you two would love to talk to each other, since you're best friends. Daniel shot Winter a now's your chance look. I thought I would just let you guys get a little closer together. So you can talk easier. It took a moment, but Winter got Daniel's message, and his blush immediately darkened. Although it made no difference to Keebly, since he was also blushing deeply for different reasons. Daniel noticed that Winter was struggling to make a conversation topic, so Daniel took matters into his own hands. Or talons, I guess. Daniel added, as he looked down at what used to be his hands so long ago. but he missed the idea from his mind as he started talking. You guys should tell me more about Jade Mountain. I would love to know the stuff that's happened while I wasn't there. Well, I mean, I don't think there would be much since according to the books, Carnelian and Bigtail died about a week into the opening, if I remember correctly. So maybe the school opened about a month ago or a little more, Daniel estimated, but he awaited someone's answer. Oh, right. I guess that would be a good idea, Winter said. Oh, you guys went to school? What's it like? Star interjected as she flew down besides Daniel. Do they accept hybrids into the school? If so, maybe I could join you. That would be great. Maybe you can even join our winglet, Keeley said. If Tsunami allows it, that is, Winter added. What do you think, Hurricane? Would she allow me to join you guys? Star asked. Well, I really don't know, since I've only been a student there for about a week or so, Daniel said, trying not to look into her eyes, as that would bring out his already darkening blush. But if she's kind enough, then maybe we could work, Daniel said optimistically. We'll have to see, though. Well, it's definitely worth a try, right? Daniel asked, hoping her new possible friend would say yes. Well, of course it is. You can come back with us after we finish our mission and see what she says, Ghibli proposed. Cool. That sounds good. But one question. What exactly is the mission? What kind of quest? Star asked, wondering why they were actually flying back to the Ice Kingdom. The others made a face, which all said the same thing. Should we tell you? Well, I mean, we might as well tell her, considering she's coming along with us, Daniel said. But Winter countered. But what if she tells others about it? We can't have everyone panic about what we're doing. True, Daniel responded. Hey, I keep a secret. Trust me. It's how I survived on my own for this long. She followed up with a pleading face. Please. Daniel's heart rate immediately shot through the roof, and as such, he needed to look away for a second in order to control it. Meanwhile, Winter and Keebley both looked at each other before they finally agreed. Fine, but you need to promise us that you won't tell anyone about this, Winter said. I sincerely promise on my life that I will not tell a soul about what you are about to tell me. Star vowed as she put a talon in the air. Works for me, Keeley said. And then he began to explain the whole thing. It didn't take long. It didn't take nearly as long as the conversations in the cave, but it definitely decent amount of time. Huh? I'll read it again. But it definitely decent amount of time. We love typos here that make us laugh. Daniel looked forward as Keebley and Winter both explained the prophecy situation to their new official friend. They explained everything, how they thought they may have cracked a line in the prophecy, and how something may be hidden in the border between the Sand and Ice Kingdoms. Daniel didn't give much of an input, just answered some questions here and there when asked, but that's about it. Finally, after what felt like 5 hours, but was probably only like 20 minutes, the boys finished their explanation to Star. There was a small moment of silence, or of sense. Huh? There was a small moment of sense. We love typos, they make us laugh. There was a small moment of sense before Star spoke. So you're telling me we're going to the borderland on a simple hunch? Something might be there? And if we don't find anything, we're back to stage 1? Basically, Winter said. Wow. You really have no idea what you're doing, do you? There was a pause after Star's comment, but Keebley eventually answered. Well, okay. No, we don't. But if we don't do something, Pyrea is going to burn. So we might as well start somewhere. True, Star answered. If I knew what was best If I knew what was best for me, then I would probably just fly off by now. But since I don't really care, let's do it. I'm down for an adventure. Take a drink of water. Sweet. How far until we make it? Ghibli asked. At least another few hours. Daniel piped up after a while of silence. Wow, I completely forgot you were there. Winter said, but he was quick. But Winter said, but was quickly shut down by Daniel. Oh, really? And who do you think has been carrying your frosty body across the desert for the last 7 hours? I'm the only reason you're even this close with your damn boyfriend right now. So you better be thanking me. Nail spat. A cheeky smile crossed his face as he saw Winter's snout turn navy. Oh, don't pull that on with me, Hurricane. You know you're also enjoying your time with your girlfriend down there. Soon, Winter and Daniel began to playfully banter, while both of their snouts went multiple shades darker. This happened. The same happened with Keebley and Winter, as they both blushed from embarrassment and laughing at the two playfully arguing dragons. Meanwhile, Kikajo and Moon sat at the back of the group, viewing the mayhem from a good distance. What do you think they're arguing about? Moon asked as she turned to the small rain wing. I don't know. Oh, I don't know exactly. But I have multiple ideas, Keebley replied, or Kikajo replied, sorry, as she repeatedly moved her brows up and down. Moon got the message and sighed as the rain wing just laughed. Why am I not surprised? Moon said, face palming herself. Why am I not surprised? And that is the end of the chapter. Except for, as usual, the author gracing us with his presence in the form of a author's note at the very bottom. Yo! What's up, beautiful readers? And thank you for reading this latest chapter. I'm going on a trip tomorrow, so I'm not sure when I'll be able to edit and fix the grammar mistakes and typos, but I'll get around to it. I am going to compete in a primer for esports. However, so writing the next bit may take some time, but I'll get it done. Besides that, hopefully you enjoyed this chapter. And I look forward to seeing you all in the next. Adios. So, we have a fucked up love triangle forming in the gaggle fuck of a group led by the Giga Chad protagonist, Daniel. Oh boy. Chaos is going to happen. It's going to be so much fun. Hopefully, the sickness passes before I kill myself, but I'm not going to kill myself. Never kill yourself. Yeah, I think that's it. See you tomorrow, hopefully.